Stay Alive is a survival horror tabletop role playing game with elements of violence, emotional trauma, biological infection, and may include other mature content or themes. Viewer discretion is advised.
Government officials insist that this is an isolated incident difficult to damage the brain. Perhaps we will continue to keep you informed.
Previously on Stay Alive, the survivors had found themselves in the safety, the bastion of New Eden, ultimately to find that its assailant, Roman, the leader of the Legionnaires, not only sought to disrupt their presence in that location, but was doing so behind the veil of a personal grudge or longing, depending on the interpretation. The survivors found themselves thrown aback by explosions, cut down by gunfire, and substantially overwhelmed by the Legionnaires' vast, outnumbering force. Frankie, the scout and long range sniper, eventually catching up with Roman as he entered New Eden, only to dispatch both of them as Frankie was cornered, pulling the pin on a grenade to dispatch both of them. As a preamble to the chaos that would erupt on one side of this otherwise quiet and peaceful storefront, Crow, who had recently joined forces with Roman, was working through the back entrance with additional heavy guns, seeing a number of New Eden's capable survivors gunned down, including Nathaniel and Shay. Hodge, having taken a shot and barely meandered out of Crow's sightline, was eventually joined by David, who came to heed Hodge's call. While this was taking place, twins Rose and Poppy found themselves tucked and hidden away right near the rear entrance before it was flooded with Legionnaire forces, ultimately debating the merits and value of staying with these people or making a break for it to run. Before they were able to action their potentialities in that regard, the explosive firefight that erupted shortly thereafter sees the aftermath of an explosion now coupled with the close quarters contention of David and Crow just out of one another's sight lines in a hotly contested and tense moment as Hodge tries to stabilize himself in a nearby aisleway. David, you do not see Nathaniel or Shay. Hodge, just out of the periphery of your sightline, is currently holding the side of his abdomen in some type of decided discomfort. The heavy boots and large form of Crow can be heard less than nimbly stepping, moving, maneuvering at some distance just out of your eye line. When your ringing ears, having just settled for a brief moment, are again stung with pains of a certainly impending tinnitus as a grenade goes off on the opposite side of the store from where you had just left Frankie.
Well,
What happens next?
I'm going to kind of just try to make eye contact with Hodge. Just
And he pushes himself a little further into the aisleway, looking to try and clear any sight lines that might be easily accessible.
cool. I just kind of shoot one last glance back, make sure that the coast is clear from behind where I've just come from, and maybe hope that I can catch a glimpse of Frankie from that
Make
direction.
an effort to notice.
8.
You do not immediately see Frankie or Roman. From near the front of the store, you see this set of hands slowly clambering up on one of the sort of checkout aisle dividers as Operative Sexy is slowly clambering to his feet, trying to pull himself upwards, clearly in significant discomfort as well. A number of Legionnaires somewhere in between you and Operative Sexy at a distance, getting up and shaking their heads to shake off some of the ringing that's likely there. No other sign of immediate allies in the vicinity.
All right. Okay. And you said that I heard
An explosion.
Okay, but down the hallway where I hear footsteps just from down that way. That's all I've heard thus far.
From Crow's approximate position, shifting behind cover, looking to try and gain sight lines and trying to maneuver from behind protection.
Perfect. All right. I am going to go ahead and just prepare myself with my shotgun, but as I do, I'm gonna kind of hold it with one hand up and have my grenade out in my other hand as I round the corner, just starting by just like peeking my head out just to see if I can catch a glimpse of who's down there, so I can maybe just roll the grenade down the hall.
Okay. Pro, please make an effort to be deft. David, make an effort to notice. Both of you will also be well prepared in correspondence with our current hype train.
It's 8 for me.
10.
Okay. As you peer around the corner, you can still hear some of the footsteps that might be taking place. You can get a definitive sense that someone behind cover is certainly there, scattering remnant of footsteps off in some vague distance at the opposite corner from where you find yourself, likely suggesting some movement as well, but no immediate targets or enemies in your sight line.
Okay. I would like to move across the opening to the other side of the hallway. And as I do, I'm going to try to kick something down the hall to cause some noise and maybe draw out whoever is down there.
Okay. I'm going to say make an effort to utilize your fitness to move nimbly from space to space with this maneuver.
Okay. 7.
Okay. As you find yourself darting across, you see Hodge lean forward, suggesting to try and stop you. Crow, please make an effort to notice for me.
3.
Okay. It turns out that David's not particularly adept or fluid movement is still more than enough to see him cover to cover, kicking it across a small glass broken piece of something that seems to have been some component or measure tied to some previously assembled finery. And as it begins sliding your direction, you hear it bang into one of the base foundations of the racks nearby. Rose and Poppy. While this is taking place, you can see from behind your protected cover Crow holding his automatic weapon, leaning up against a sort of low-end shelf, applying a decent amount of his weight to it, shifting back and forth, peering David's direction, or somebody's direction that you can't see for the moment. The legionnaires that originally obstructed your pathway to a hasty retreat and exit, now having funneled somewhere into the store or addressing some other matter, sees Crow between you and the door, and a slight lull in some of the immediate action in front of you. Some of the store nearby is currently ignited and on fire. There's holes blown in various sides of it, and Crow has not seemed to notice you from your secluded hiding spot. What would either of you like to do?
I will kind of lean in and whisper as low as I can to Poppy. He might be injured. Maybe we can get around him.
Small door is a pretty big person.
Do we have a way? He's looking at something else. Maybe if we wait until he moves or something happens.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know.
I'm going to try to, as gracefully, I don't know if that was actually a good call, as gracefully as possible, kind of roll over just a little bit. I still have my rifle. I just want to put myself in a position where I can react maybe a little bit as quickly as I can from a hiding position. So I'm just trying to readjust my body.
Okay, go ahead and make an effort to utilize your deafness. Rose, what are you doing?
Probably the same, kind of trying to get into a crouched, like almost runner's position as best I can while keeping. I have the gun. That's the only weapon I have. So keeping that in one hand and just trying to help, not be trying to get ready, set.
Sure. Okay. For me, go ahead and make an effort to utilize your fitness. You'll also be well prepared still.
Okay.
Bro, as this slight shifting begins to take place in some nearby aisleway, your mind still generally focused on the threats in front of you, trying to make sure that you are maintaining a presence on the last location of threatening direction. You then hear something hit into the base of one of the aisles just about 6 feet away. What are you looking to do right away?
I just want to aim down sights and just kind of shift my focus over to whatever hit and just kind of slowly try to sidestep over to see if I can get an angle on it.
I'm gonna say make an effort to focus here.
And am I at all aware that this is happening at the end of the hallway?
I'll change the result of Crow's efforts based on whether or not you are purposefully looking to utilize your attempted distraction to peek out. Are you exposing yourself to be viewed, or are you simply moving cover to cover?
I was just moving cover to cover, but looking to hear footsteps possibly.
Okay. So you can go ahead and make an effort to notice as well. What'd you roll, Crow?
That's a 13 to focus.
13 to notice.
So both of you, in your various states of surreptitious approach, find yourself eyeing very acutely across the expanse between you two. And it's not Crow's eagle-eyed vision that spots David, nor is it David's immediate approach that puts you in position to see Crow, but Hodge pushing off the ground and slowly sliding up the wall to try and get to his feet, sort of poking his head out, that catches Crow's attention enough to shift his frame into view. And Crow, as you peek out, you would see Hodge, not particularly adept at remaining small, and a quick encouragement from David to try and return to cover. Everybody having at least a vague conception for a moment's time where everybody is now located. What would you like to do?
So I saw Hodge pop his head up and like a meerkat and then sink back down.
And David, for a quick moment, just reach out to try and shoo him back in with a pantomime gesture.
Look, y'all. I ain't here for either of you. Rose. I know you're out there somewhere. Why don't you just go ahead and stick that pretty little head out? We need to have a little chat.
Rose or Poppy, are either of you reacting to Crow's insistence? Or David, for that matter?
I'll wait like 2 seconds just to hear whatever they might do first.
You hear nothing because we are gone into the wind. I'm going to I'm already repositioned, but I'm going to try to put myself on the in between them as much as I can. I know we're risking a lot moving around. I just want to be on the other side of her. I want to be in between, still hiding, just moving.
Okay.
Silently in the mayhem.
The building around you continues to burn.
Mm-hmm.
As Crow seems to remove himself from a discerned state of cover and protection into something that is much more akin to a reluctant truce, provided his terms are agreed to. David's silence providing backdrop to the fire that is beginning to grow around the pair of you. Are you remaining hidden or taking any specific actions?
I'm gonna look at Poppy and shake my head and kind of try to gesture as quietly and slowly as possible that we are about to run, and try and get around him as soon as he moves in a direction where we think we even have the smallest chance.
Okay. So if I can pick up from that using twin mind signals, I'm going to be watching and waiting for the moment that seems the most advantageous, if possible.
Ro, make an effort to notice. I'm going to say Rose and Poppy, both of you can make an effort to utilize your deafness, and as a parting gift on the tail end of wondrous turnout, both of you, all of you, excuse me, can also receive the trailing well-prepared bonus.
Thanks, Chad.
That's a 6.
I got an 11.
Oh my god, twins! Literally.
Okay. You're able to begin segueing towards the door, trying to stay low, watching Crow's feet and movement stalking the area, ultimately finding another Legionnaire moving into the space, coming through the now exposed crater-like door, approaching Crow from behind, seeing Crow in a bit of a casual nature, not really having a definitive sense of understanding as to what's taking place per se, but eventually approaching through the lens of curiosity more than anything else. Bro, what's going on here? Where's Roman at? What?
Roman was dealing with Roman shit. He was after Frankie. I'm here for
Who
something else. I'm here
What
for
are
Rose.
you here for?
Rose, where you
Rose?
at?
What you want with flowers? What the fuck is going on? Everybody's gone.
If you don't shut the fuck up, you will end up like some of these others. Good boy. Rose,
I'll just go look for Roman then.
were you
And
there
the
when she
individual-
turned? Did you leave her like that? Did you just walk away after all we went through, after all we did for you?
Crow, as you observe this individual walking away from you, your focus shifts back to these surrounding areas, looking to isolate the survivor in question. Just from the periphery, you can catch a glimpse of one of these Legionnaires slowing down just a touch, just to try and pick up on what it is you might be after. A slight head tilt and a brief pause before they continue walking. Rose, as this individual's feet line up directly with the crouched form that you are trying to remain hidden down within, you see them turn down and look to you and freeze for a brief moment. What would you like to do?
This is the Legionnaire.
Right.
I'm gonna shoot him in the face if I can, and I'm gonna
Make
run.
an effort to be accurate.
Oh, okay. 6.
Okay. This individual has a gun on their front, sort of held low, not particularly looking to be immediately combative as the structure around you is beginning to crumble. And they stop and turn to look at you for a brief moment, a slight head tilt, almost kind of trying to riddle out what it is you're doing before you see that look of recognition kind of connecting the dots between Crow's purpose and your surreptitious approach. Poppy, across an aisleway from you, you see Rose freeze and look up at this individual for just the briefest of moments before, in a lightning flash you're probably not accustomed to seeing from Rose, just reaches up and immediately fires a shot that sees the individual slump to the ground quickly. The individual on your periphery is brought to your attention by noise from that overall direction, only to see them slump to the floor just in time. What would you like to do?
You can't run. You want your sister to live? All you gotta do is stand up. Come out here and talk to me. Otherwise, I will burn this entire building down around us both and everyone in it.
I look at Poppy and I start running.
You're
Trying to
running
make
what
for the-
direction?
The crater back door, like the hole in the back wall.
Okay. So, Crow, at a slight angle, there's a brief moment of silence before this completely uninhibited, wrestling push towards the back door as Rose's small form begins sprinting towards the now exposed exterior. What would you like to do?
I would like to lick off 2 shots at Rose's back.
Night.
Rose, make an effort to utilize your fitness, please. Crow, make an effort to be accurate.
Can
Yes,
I?
Poppy?
And
Poppy,
I
what
was
would you like to do?
I was just gonna. Whoa. I'm gonna yell out. Run, Poppy!
David, what are you doing in this circumstance?
I want to pop out from behind cover and take a shot at Crow's head.
Poppy, make an effort to influence. David, make an effort to be accurate. Rose, what was your fitness effort?
That was a that was a 4 minus 2 for a 2.
And Bro, your effort to be accurate?
That was a 12.
Oh.
Poppy, your effort to influence.
-4.
And David, your effort to be accurate.
12.
David and Crow, can both of you please roll a d4?
3.
Also with 3.
Crow, as you see this form beginning to sprint towards the back door, a brief call out from Poppy. Readily dismissed. Rose, now simply wearing the clean version of the last thing you saw her wearing. Shaking off and twisting around to see a string of bullets quickly fired forward. Rose, you are struck in the back twice and cast to the ground. And as the gun comes down from the aimed sights, Bro, you hear another shot ring out from the assailants behind you, the brief exposure enough to provide David a brief opportunity. A shot ringing out, striking you in the back of the shoulder, also causing a significant wound. There's a brief moment of still silence when the clatter of gunshots has drawn the attention of some of the remaining Legionnaires in the building. All of them skittering your way, and David, you would see a series of them. Quick, expletive-laden sighs and exasperations coming from the aisle over, where Hodge seems to be recognizing the impending danger of the moment as some of Roman's remaining internal forces take aim and fire at you and Hodge as well. The shots and bullets ring out. A quick, violent firefight. Bursts of gunfire from some nearby distance of readily identifiable assailants. David, you were struck probably just outside the lung, high on the chest, and cast to the ground, the central portion and bed showcase area of the store, the only break in the sightline that you currently see. You also hear Hodge's large form slam down towards the ground. Groans and sighs, not immediate death, but a firefight erupting with many casualties currently pending. Crow, you hear this explosive from behind you. What would you like to do?
Legionnaires, hold your fire. And I reach behind my back and I pull out the pistol that was once Dee's, the same one I had to kill her with. And I yell out, "Hey, Poppy, I had to put down the person I love. I did it with this pistol right here. And I'm going to throw it on the ground towards where I heard her yell out. Now you get to do the same." And I'm going to turn around and start walking out of the building. Legionnaires, find Roman. You, with me.
It seems as if, devoid of any immediate direction, the Legionnaires perhaps don't have it together quite as much and take to authoritative command quite readily. A relatively scrawny yet still well-armed and equipped individual quickly taking the backside of your hip. "Hey, you got shot, bro. You got shot."
No shit.
"Oh, all right. What are we doing?"
Just what I said. You're with me. You're going to help me get out of here. The rest of them are going to find Roman. Then we're going to clean this up.
As you walk towards the exit, I'll need you to make an effort to endure for me. David, I'll have you provide me an effort to endure as well. Rose, I'd like for you to please make an effort to utilize your grit.
That is a 7 to endure.
12.
5.
As you begin moving towards the exit, you see at least one of the wounds that you had created in Rose's upper back, somewhere probably just above the shoulder blade, with the sprint and twist of her body trying to make towards the exit. Not in particularly great shape, obviously. Both sides of the shirt she is wearing covered in red stains on both sides, it seemed, and an apparent hole both front and back, as she's just barely able to turn over and try and maintain awareness on her surroundings. The Legionnaire kind of stops and looks down at Rose's form, sort of looks to you. We're good here. We can go. Let's go. Boots towards the front of the store, quick surveying the area as your now commanded escort seems to make good on the previous set of orders provided. Bro, what would you like to do?
I wouldn't wait too long, Poppy. She turns. She's not going to know you're her sister. She's going to know you're a meal. Make it quick. It's the kindness that you can do. And I'm going to finish my exit.
Okay. Leaving Rose bleeding on the ground, and 2 wounds in the back. David, fortunately for you, it seems as if the high velocity round missed just barely some of the vital organs. Blood loss, a severe wound to be sure, but nothing that is going to immediately impede internal organ function. You're able to wrestle to your feet as you see 2 Legionnaires eyeing your direction, guns down, before raising them up towards you and kind of looking around, continuing to segue towards the back portion of the store, nearly the opposite central side of where you are currently standing. From the aisle next over, you hear Hodge's voice. David, are you alive?
I'll be okay.
Oh, that's good. That's good. You know, I'm not as convinced about me, David, but that's good.
Hey.
Did we win? Are we good?
Win is a relative term, but
you're right.
I don't think we're gonna die today, so long as we can get these wounds patched up.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Just make sure Julius knows I appreciate all his help. All right, if just make sure he knows. Yeah.
Hey, you can tell him yourself, and I'm gonna go see if I can maybe help Hodge get up, and we can make it to our secondary location. Get everyone patched up.
As you round the corner into the aisleway, you see a large patch of blood near the top of his chest, and most of his protective wear soaked through near his abdomen. He kind of looks up at you. I don't know, David. I was thinking I'd just maybe stay here for a bit.
Kind of kneel down next to him, cradle his face. Yeah, if you need to take a breather, take a second. Can I get you anything? You okay? Hey, Hodge, you did good.
Yeah.
You did good.
David, could you maybe just get me like an ice cream cone? Could you do that? 'Cause and you see Hodge slowly begin to lean back against the wall before his head slowly slumps down.
Does Hodge have a small arm on him?
Yep, he has a small, compact assault weapon, and he has a sidearm that still appears to be holstered.
Okay. As he kind of slumps back, I'm just going to pat him on the cheek, and going to go to just grab what firearms he had on him, and whatever ammunition he had on him, and put them in the like kind of utility pocket in my kitchen apron that I'm wearing.
Okay.
But I'm gonna wait for him to be unresponsive and unconscious before I take any action.
The soft, familial, gentle touch of Hodge's cheek eventually slides down slowly towards the neck. You feel the last fleeting throb of a pulse before there's several moments of perpetual stillness. And Hodge formally slips away from you.
Okay. I'm gonna give it a 3 count, just make sure there's no pulse before I make sure that the virus doesn't take over.
The momentary separation as the pool of blood that Hodge is already laying in stops the aggression of its growth and outward expansion. And a parting gift for an old friend, as you're able to move on and move forward from the immediacy of the surroundings.
As I scan the interior of the building, was there any sign of sexy?
So you don't see him directly from where you are. Make an effort to notice for me, please.
Sure. And I'm willing to head that way so long as there aren't too many legionnaires in that
Sure.
general vicinity. That's an 8 notice.
Okay. You do see at some distance, near where the previous legionnaires had been, there is a form fighting and slowly crawling on the ground, looking to make his way towards the back of the store, it would seem. Operative Sexy probably succumbing to some blood loss, fighting to slowly navigate back towards the rear of the building.
I'm going to move to him if I can. And as I do, maybe grab like a linen or something off of a bed in the store and try to kind of hastily make a bandage just to get Sexy up and out of here.
Make an effort to utilize your first aid. While you are navigating and moving across in this circumstance, Poppy, you see Rose's form now lying face up. Heavy heaving breaths as you watch the lighter colors of some of her garments beginning to soak through in some areas with blood. Her breath shallow and heavy. What would you like to do?
I think for a long minute, I'm just staring. But once it becomes evident that these people that are leaving are not, I don't want to incentivize anybody to do any more damage. So once she has a little bit of clearance, I'm going to shuffle out. I'm ignoring the pistol that Crow tossed in my direction. I'm just running and falling to my knees beside her, and I'm just gonna kind of try to help her sit up just a little bit. Hey, we're okay, we're okay, you're okay, it's all fine. You apply pressure, and I'm gonna apply pressure, and it's okay. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
You're doing it wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've never done this before, so okay, how do I do it? Tell me how to do it.
And
Talk to
I'm
me.
gonna try to stumble through an explanation of,
Sure.
but probably not getting very many words out.
I'll provide
I
you
will.
a opportunity to utilize your first aid.
Well prepared because I have help.
I'm gonna say your help is not super effective in this moment.
That's fair. It's a 1.
Okay. You do not do a particularly good job of stemming the blood flow or trying to address or treat any of the wounds, but in your fervor and fury to try and desperately do something, you see a second bullet hole through the back of Rose's shirt.
Like a exit wound? Or
An
just
entry wound from where the
yeah, because
other bullet that had gone clean through
this one.
to find a
Yeah.
completely exploded and mushroomed round buried into the backplate of a bulletproof vest.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. We gotta. Does anybody have stuff? Or you're okay. You're okay. I'm just gonna. After I call out for someone that maybe knows more about this than I clearly
Sure.
do. I'm I'm just trying to stop the bleeding as much as possible right now. That's all I know to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll see if I can sit her up. I don't really know if we're ready to do more than that at this point. I'm going real slow, probably slower than is probably appropriate, but
Sure.
I'm just trying to stop the bleeding. And
Okay.
hoping.
And David, what did you roll on your efforts?
Was it 2 on my first aid check?
You get the definitive sense and impression that Operative Sexy is in bad shape as you rush over. Your process and effort somewhat impeded by his almost waving you away as you try to address some of his injured form before pulling you close. Y'all have a radio.
Like an FM
radio.
radio?
No. Communications radio, do you have one?
Gonna rack my brain for a moment, but I don't think we have one on us.
Shit. Okay. Here. He begins fiddling across the ammunition pouches on his front, trying to dig in or search for something on his person before the bloody hands cover a clear lenticular case around what appears to be a small piece of paper, probably about 5 inches tall, maybe a few inches wide. Red on both sides, seemingly folded in half, before handing it to you. Zero 428 1447. Let him know.
Okay, and I'm gonna pull out my pad of pen and paper and a pencil and write that down really quick so I don't forget it.
The order sheet.
Okay. Do you need anything?
I don't know. I don't know that I got a lot of time left. And this is where you kind of see him open up the vest, and you see the vest kind of almost peel away, taking some of the interior clothing layer with it, as this massive wound directly from on the side of his ribs appears to be exposed. The tightness and buckling of some of his combat gear likely providing a significant tourniquet effect for at least a brief moment, but certainly not a permanent solution. This would be considered a grievous wound to perhaps even the untrained mind.
Any chance you can walk, or
I've done enough walking, David. I've done enough walking.
all right?
Do me one last personal favor, just if if you happen to run into that woman Crow is looking for, maybe it's better if Crow's not around for it, but just tell her I'm sorry. She'll understand.
All right.
If you don't mind, I think I'm gonna die now.
Well, never really been one to believe in taking life needlessly, but do you want me to give you a last words?
He pulls out a
Want me
small
to-
pistol and kind of looks at you. Get out of here. I'll take care of it.
Just kind of put a hand on his shoulder. All right. Hey, I barely know you, but thank you for everything you've done.
It's
And
your
I'll
radio.
get up and go towards where I assume the twins are.
His form loosely slapped up against the edge of a wall as you hear him fight forward just to provide some last little semblance of what energy has. Beginning to walk away, he begins patting himself again, digging deep down inside, pulling out this small tube, probably about 6 or so inches long. Pops the top of it off, puts it towards his mouth, withdraws maybe the last couple inches of a small cigar, grabs one of the nearby towels as the fire continues to creep closer, sweeping through the store to sort of light the end of it before throwing the towel away. Gives you a little bit of a head nod salute. Go on.
I'll walk away.
Rounding the corner to find Poppy scrambling feverishly to try and apply assistance to an injured Rose. You would see David approach all of you, seemingly the Legionnaires having been cleared out. A gap in the chaos, at least for the moment, as you slowly begin to feel the impending danger of the fire overtaking the building. A brief moment for recovery, interrupted once more. A shot ringing out from the front of the store. David seeming surprisingly unfazed.
How's she looking?
She's looking like she has a bullet through her. How are you supposed to stop things from bleeding this much?
I'll rip off part of my shirt, or maybe I've got a little extra linen on me or something, but I'll just kind of try to help put something there to staunch the bleeding. Can we get her up? Rose, how you doing?
Not
You-
good.
Oh,
Could you
you're
walk
okay.
for 5 minutes?
I got you. I got you. I got you.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
try.
Yeah, you can. You can. I'm gonna try to scoop an arm underneath her and drag her to her feet as best I can, as gingerly as I can.
David, make an effort to apply your first aid. And Rose, I'm going to have you make an effort to endure here, please.
Yeah, that first aid roll was garbage. We're negative.
Neither of you able to stem the worst of the blood flow in any meaningful sense. Rose's form growing considerably pale as you see her slip into unconsciousness from blood loss.
No. Hey. I'm gonna tap the side of her face a little bit. Hey, Rose. Hey, Rose. Okay. I am still trying to, I guess now, basically carry her. I'm still gonna go arm around the shoulders, and I'm gonna try to look to David. Where are we going?
I'll kind of help carry Rose and just start leading off to our secondary location. We're pretty close. We have plans in place if something should happen, so we'll have folks who can probably help with some better medical attention than I can give. I'm a chef, not a doctor.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Rose. We're gonna be okay. I'm just gonna keep talking to Rose.
Okay. Rose, I need you to make an effort to endure for me again, please.
Okay. 8.
Okay. Rose remains unconscious and unresponsive immediately. Still feels like carrying dead weight as you try to shoulder her form from the interior of the burning structure to something that at least closely resembles whatever David's backup protective location might be. But probably for the first time, this perpetual flowing of blood that washes across the inside of your form doesn't provide that rush of temperature differential. At least a slowdown, or perhaps purely based on a lack of blood pressure at this point. Rose is not immediately about to die, but is certainly teetering on the edge without additional attention. Is there anything you are all looking to do as you segue to your rendezvous location?
I think just move quickly.
Yeah.
Our priority, I would imagine, is trying to get Rose there in time.
Yeah. I'm just
Leaving
I'm still
the
talking to her.
fire of the burning building behind you, you see as the interior of it now begins to collapse. What yet remains of New Eden, now brick and wood, charred husk with structural integrity issues now created through multiple explosions and infiltrations to the only loosely reinforced structure itself. Walking some distance away, ultimately sees, probably after no more than a few hundred feet, some of the remaining ceiling structure and higher level walls all collapsing in, shading again the destruction at the CDC. 2 buildings left in ruins. the definitive and unfortunate byproduct of a virus that could not infect any such structure. But Rose, at least, seems to slowly be stabilizing. And after another 10 minutes of desperate hoofing it and moving it forward, you would all find yourself finally working through and meeting at a rendezvous location with the survivors who were instructed to run away. A extremely small church, very little of resource gathering value, probably not much in the way of anything really worth taking specifically, but for the moment, probably a hard target that is otherwise a little bit out of the way and off the radar.
As we get close, I will bang on the door for them to let us in and call out, "Hey, we got wounded. Open up."
It's probably just a few moments. There is this definitive sense of shuffling feet, this scared trigger of emotions.
"It's David. Labs are on the line here. Come on."
Eventually, the rhythmic and slightly off kilter tapping of feet as Kara thrusts the door open, not currently holding or maintaining the walking stick that she had used previously in New Eden. And shortly behind her, directly over her shoulder, you see Julius's form as well, with a number of survivors inside, all hunched, scared, concerned.
Hey,
What would you like to do?
Rose is losing blood. Can we help her?
Please.
I don't know how to do that shit.
It's clean. There. Please. Do-
What is anyone doing?
I'm looking to hand off medical care to someone who is better equipped to it.
Yeah.
Whether that looks like Kara or Julius, I don't know.
Sure. Is Julius particularly adept at anything resembling first aid?
And not unless he can talk her out of unconsciousness and into better spirits.
Well, I hate to lean on it, but you can certainly try. I venture a guess it's probably not a particularly effective mechanism. Kara's skills and expertise currently not laden towards medical care. I will provide Poppy or David a singular effort.
Uh, um. I mean, it's not. It's not. I don't think it's gonna go well for either of us. I don't. I mean,
Now that
just
we're
the
in a
way-
secondary location with some additional people and maybe a handful of supplies that have
Can we-
been stashed here in case of emergency, do we have any ability to make it well prepared at the very
are we
least?
prepared?
I'll say Kara and Poppy are at the ready to provide whatever aid they are able to render. So with a surplus of hands and eyes in the process, I will say you have something akin to an operating suite in a pinch, and we can apply you being well prepared to take an aggressive remedy to try and address Rose's situation.
Okay. All right. Okay, so with the well prepared, I rolled a 6, and then I've got my first aid modifier, which is a -4, so it's a 2.
Ooh.
Clearly lacking the high-end equipment required for this type of circumstance. The delicacy of the human form in contact with high velocity metal is a terrible combination, and trying to stitch it back together in this circumstance or provide some semblance of recovery is certainly not the ideal scenario. However, before you begin to lean down and address Rose's pale, blood-covered form, you all hear an aggressive pounding on the door.
Are there more? Are we expecting more? Is that Nathaniel or?
I didn't see anyone else on the way out.
What about their friend, the one in the gear, the sexy one? Is maybe it's
Gonna
him?
hand Julius the firearm that I got off of Hodge. You want to go find out who it is?
Sure. And I'll walk over to the door.
As you begin
Who goes
moving
there?
forward towards the door slowly, you hear this voice echo almost from the opposite side. Friendly, here to help. We don't have time for all this. Let's go. Get it open.
He says he's friendly. I'll shakily hold the gun and open the door.
As you open it, you see an individual slightly crouched, holding a rifle, slowly scanning back and forth. Directly behind them, this massive ballistic shield, almost twice the size of a standardized type of riot shield that they seem to be wearing on their back. Two large, almost plexiglass-looking pauldrons seem connected to this tactical harness on this otherwise all-black form, covered in a black helmet and balaclava, before they turn around. Put that shit away. How many of you are left? And begins to walk by you, pushing the door open.
Come on in. Okay, Mr. Man.
Hooking the tail end of the body of the rifle onto a small sling that then drapes from around the neck. David and Poppy, you would see this massive lumbering form, probably just shy of 7 feet. This massive turtle shell of a ballistic shield on their back. Tactical adornments up and down the front before taking a knee alongside Rose. Are any of you doctors?
I've played a doctor.
No.
Played a doctor. All right, well, they give us this, but I sure shit don't know how to use it. And rips open a pouch on his chest before dropping this large red bag, probably only about 2 or so inches deep, but almost a foot wide and probably at least 8 inches tall, worn like a belt across the stomach that's concealed within a black pocket. There's not much there, but it's all extremely high end. If you're going to take a shot, you should use the right equipment.
Okay. Thank you, whoever you are, Mr. Turtle Man. All right, David, this is clearly not your.
Why do you think I came here in the first place?
All right, it's no different than sewing a new costume. Let me see what I can do. I would like to.
Okay, the figure takes their helmet off, pulls off the back portion of a stretched balaclava to reveal this massive burn and abrasive damage on one side of their face. One of the eyes slightly damaged. The other side, seemingly almost unkempt, kind of a wild, long beard, still maybe a little patchy on some of the undersides here, but leaning down with a legitimate and genuine care, sort of watching on, knowing to be of help, but not maybe knowing how. My name's Bastion, by the way.
Nice to meet you, Bastion. I'm Julius.
Can you fix her?
Fix. Well, let's see if all that studying for that role will pay off at all. Let's see what I can do.
You can make a effort to utilize your first aid. You will be well prepared.
That is an 8. -2, so 6.
Rose, go ahead and make an effort to endure, please.
That's a 4.
Julius, perhaps a little overly flourishy with some of the details and the application of some of the rather advanced tools. Though their intuitive nature, they are decidedly field deployment selection, specifically for emergency triage rather than anything that resembles the complexity of a legitimate hospital. Just the exact tools you'd need for just this exact situation. And with the combination of deft and careful hands, Julius seems to staunch some of the immediate blood by pinching off some of the internal arteries that were still pumping blood outward, and immediately followed by Bastion standing up, the massive lumbering form then taking a knee near Rose's head, pulling out a small can and shaking it like a graffiti artist about to go to work before attaching a hose to a nozzle and sticking it in the wound. The front end of Rose's currently exposed gunshot now filling with this expanding foam. It's temporary. That won't last long, but you did good. She'll live. I think.
Thanks.
Pretty sure. Have any of you seen someone like me? Well, not like me exactly. Another operative, an old friend of mine. I'm looking for.
Sexy.
Yeah, is he around?
Was around up until just a few minutes ago.
He put out a call for help. Where'd he go? I can catch up to him still.
You know, you might know what to do with this, and I'll kind of take out the paper that Sexy gave me and the notes with the that I wrote down, whatever those numbers were that he gave me.
Doesn't even look at your notes and grabs the small sort of plexiglass card. You see the big heavy boots begin to take steps towards the front door, bracing his form up against it, just at some vague distance. Fuck! Comes back briefly, cracks the plexi container in half before pulling out the red sheet of paper and beginning to read it. Jesus Christ. Which one of y'all is David? Oh shit. Hey, I'm really sorry, man. I came because Operative Sexy said you had some trouble with some local threats. He gave me
Say
what
that.
intel he could. We have an operative that's using some of our surveillance network to try and gather more information now, but there's a small batch of your group that didn't come back recently.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
they're currently in the elephant display in the Atlanta Zoo.
Sue?
I need to
Hold
get the
up.
rest of my team here.
Is this
Major,
like who? Is this? I have no idea what's going on right now. We are in an apocalypse and we're playing like spy games. Like people are dying, right? Like people are starving.
yeah, there's a lot of layers to that, I suppose. Um, we're all just trying. I'm really sorry. Rose is the
Well,
last one left, so um,
What?
they're going to be coming harder than before.
Who's going to be coming harder? What elephant? What?
Shit, I don't know what you know, but we'll get you caught up as soon as possible. But long story short, evil people with beards that aren't as glorious as mine have selected some folks that they have purposefully put some things into. If it is exposed to certain other elements, it's some genetic coding type of thing. I don't know. I'm not our science person. I'll be honest, we have a lot less science people left. They're not really great shots.
I'm gonna go walk up to uh like kind of behind the altar at the front of the church room, and like there's a little cabinet, and pull out like a bottle of liquor that I stashed there a couple of weeks ago and bring it back and just kind of put it down on the tables. All right, we're gonna start talking and you're gonna tell me everything, because this is some bullshit.
I mean,
And
there are better people to tell you than me, but
are they here right now?
that's fair. uh, Abigail Morozic runs the ARC Operative Administration. She dispatched us to ensure we were monitoring survivor progress until we found out that they were purposefully injecting them with mutated portions of the virus. Because they were also injecting them with potential cures. They thought that, based on the way that they interacted, something with proteins, I think maybe. I don't know.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Some science bullshit.
Yeah, they're test subjects, and they have a clock as soon as it gets started. If they don't succumb to the virus right away, the modified version will overtake them. Each one of them is a walking potential for a cure or a time bomb into a mutated Zerk. And Rose is our only one left.
All right, but like she's fine, right? Rose is gonna be okay. So
I mean,
crisis
she's
averted.
shot and
Or
she's lost a bunch of blood. That seems like a bad place to start for my first time seeing what's going on here.
well, I just one more time. I'm not a doctor, but if Rose doesn't die, like that's how the virus works, right? Is you die and then you become a Zerk. So if you don't die, you don't become a Zerk. Or are there's more to that now?
There's more to that now. They've been injected with some kind of metabolic agent. It's specifically designed to mutate, and they either make it or they don't. And thus far, as I'm sure you've probably guessed, none of them have.
She has.
That's a fucking start. Let me get some of that bottle. He kind of reaches out to grab it, takes the other hand, pulls off this massive shield before kind of slamming it on the ground next to him. David, I'm Bastion, by the way. I don't know if you caught that or not, but
Yeah. Oh, good to meet you.
You have a radio.
You know, Sexy asked that as well. I don't have a radio on me. Maybe there's some sound equipment here that we could use.
That's right. I know of a place. It's probably no more than a mile and a half away.
Oh,
we can get there. We'll be fine. Are you shot? Yeah. Oh shit, you're shot. Who isn't shot? Perfect. Had a strong, powerful, commanding voice. Bit of an authority. Held the gun well. Medical experience, clearly. You'll come with me. We're gonna make sure that we get this call and message out. It's probably best I'm sticking with one of your tough ones anyway. So.
I wouldn't exactly say tough. I don't know how to use this. I'm an actor.
Yeah, he'll be funny on the way too. I get it. Come on, let's get moving.
David, don't let him take me, David.
Julius, you are so well equipped for this mission, and you just don't know it yet.
I'm gonna lean in real close to David. That is some bullshit that I would say, and I do not appreciate it, sir. All right, Bastion. Yes, let's go do the thing.
Are is that what you're wearing? I don't know if I've ever gone on a mission in a turtleneck.
Oh, it's fantastic. It covers all of this so that they can't see anything. It's very tactical. Like just trust me on this.
Well, you've proven yourself pretty experienced thus far. I suppose I got no reason to doubt you.
That's right.
You got a gun?
David, did you want this back?
No, you're welcome to that. I don't need it back. I hold up, and I'll like give you a couple rounds of ammunition as well. Maybe an additional magazine, and there you go. Ready to go.
All right.
I guess I have a gun.
It's Julius, right?
Yeah. Yes. Mr. Bastion, sir.
I like him. All right.
Maybe teach him how to use that on the way.
I mean, we don't all need to make jokes, David. We'll be back as soon as we can be. And turns around, throws the shield directly on top of his back, and you see it adhere to this sort of metal strip that's built into portions of the armor, almost magnetized before two cradled hooks. See it fall into secure position. Let's go. And you ultimately see Bastion begin heading towards the door. Opens it up wide, seemingly casual, unconcerned, unafraid, but begins segueing out before stopping. Hey, if Mage or anyone else like me but shorter shows up, just tell them I had to run an errand, and we're operating 428. You good? Anyone wants snacks?
428 on my pad.
All right. Let's go, Julius. You show me how it's done.
Before I leave, I want to walk over to Poppy and I want to put my hand on her shoulder and just look at her and go, she was very brave. She'll make it. I can just tell you two, you're very tough. You're very special. Don't worry. Everything will be okay. And then go skitter off.
Just for your hand for a small squeeze. And a thank you.
And then I'll skitter off after Bastion.
Okay. As you approach and move outside of the confines of this safe area here, Bastion turns around after having segued down the block just a short ways. All right. There's a little more to the details there. I didn't expect David to be in the church, but I'm going to need your help with something else that's kind of important. Do you know who Gwen is?
Yes.
Someone who's close to David, I guess, right?
That's one way of putting it, yes.
All right. I'll explain on the way. Let's get to radio. And he turns and begins to walk. As Julius's perhaps flaring and dramatic tone begins to dissipate as he is both hushed and gains distance from the exterior of the church. Poppy and David, are either of you doing anything right away?
Now that Rose seems slightly stabilized, I'd like to take a moment and coerce someone to treat my gunshot wound. And then probably just like sit down and drink some juice and keep my blood sugar up.
Okay. Sugar does something. I'm gonna say I'll let Poppy or David then attempt to utilize their efforts for first aid. David, attempting to apply it on yourself will be a desperate effort as well.
Oh yeah, no, I can't fix myself up, but I'm happy to hold still and help you, Poppy.
If I notice you struggling to try to figure out how to patch yourself up, I will very reluctantly kind of shuffle away from Rose. I will do my very best to patch you up better than I patched up my sister.
Okay.
But I'm going to, if I can, I would like to think about how I watched Julius, and I want to see if I can like mimic what he did, because obviously he did it better than either of us. So I just want to, trying to
make an effort to utilize your first aid.
Can I do it while we're fair?
I do not know that you have conditions that provide you well-prepared bonuses for this instance.
We're all gonna die. I rolled a 3, so that's gonna be a -1, as my modifier is exactly the same as yours.
Okay.
But I didn't have to take it at desperation.
A nimble attempt at trying to address your bullet hole, a cloth-covered finger poking and purging the interior of the wound in some extreme discomfort that ultimately sees it clogged more than patched, and through some excruciating discomfort, you have a bit of a blooming gunshot wound as the rag slowly begins to absorb the blood that continues to protrude outward, forcing you to more or less try and apply additional pressure to this already extremely increased sensitive area, gritting through a bit of pain to try and do so. David, make an effort to lean on your grit here.
Grit. Okay. All right. Just straight grit or endurance specifically?
This would be your grit.
Okay. 5.
You are able to still maintain through clenched teeth and a bit of a hissing spit to apply and force the rag slightly deeper in to really find the location where the blood is pooling and emerging from, to at least provide some closure for hopes of clotting. On the very, very edge of passing out through a combination of blood loss and pain, much akin to Rose's current conditions, a similarly ungentle slap from Poppy sees you sort of shocked to consciousness once more. The blood flow, at least for a moment, finally having been slowed to a point where it's manageable.
I'm not. Rose is better at this than me.
You know, Gwen is better at this than I am, so when she gets back, we'll be okay.
Sure. Yeah. You're okay?
You know, I'm not dead.
You're awake. That's I am actively every 5 to 10 seconds looking back at my sister.
I can get someone else to sit with me. I'll be all right. Someone else can keep an eye on me.
I can sit in between. I'll sit as awkwardly in between where I can reach a hand out and be kind of holding onto Rose's hand. But
Okay.
I'll like keep facing David so he doesn't feel so alone.
I'm good.
As you finally have a small measure of settled peace that begins to take over the interior portion of the church, there is a bit of a standout that catches your attention. Familiar to you, I think, largely from a conceptual standpoint, and perhaps the only one with recent experience among you actually having experience with it unconscious. You can still loosely identify the whirling blades of a helicopter. You hear the noise and buzz from outside begin to grow louder and louder. It's a brief, hovering moment before you eventually hear it begin to disappear and dissipate away. And you hear a knock on the exterior door of the church once more.
I got it. I'll
My
walk
gun is-
over.
My rifle is prepped.
I'll walk over and kind of just gonna summon all of my willpower to stand there and hold my shotgun as if I can really use it right now for 3 whole minutes and open the door.
Directly
Yeah.
in front of you, wearing tactical gear in a similar vein, but probably no more than about your stature, David. You see these dark, piercing eyes, somewhat thick, bushy eyebrows, and hair that is swept across from one direction that is probably a little bit more meticulous and purposeful than you're likely to see, at least with the common people moving around. But the area just below the somewhat hidden olive skin of the nose and forehead is obscured by a black bandana. A large, loosely, crudely demonstrated smiley face with X's for eyes covering on the front. The figure pulls it down to reveal maybe a similarly bushy and certainly less kept mustache and beard that connect at whatever angles they happen to allow for that day. Do you run this place?
Run's a strong word. What can I do you for?
My name is Alexander Kesh. I'm here to help.
Okay. I think we're like mostly chill right now. How did you find us?
Been watching you the whole time.
That's really unsettling.
It wasn't for you, if that makes you feel any better about it.
Okay. You,
It doesn't.
Well, we have a short period of time before Ark will be here as well. We have to move. Now.
Hold up. Okay. Just
Get your people. We need to move.
Move where?
Somewhere else. We have people on the way. We'll help.
Okay. We also have people on the way. So, we can't all be not here. But why don't I send, everyone who can't fight with you right now, and we can, kind of regroup once everyone else gets back. Do you, there's more like you, right?
It's David, right?
Yes.
We need to move. Now.
Okay.
And moving past your shoulder, more or less addressing the entirety of the church. Everyone get your shit! We're leaving! And turns and begins to walk past you with basically zero attention paid towards anything that you said in response. And as he gets towards the door, you hear him, or see him looking around as if he hears something. Turns around and stares at you. Shit. And the entirety of the front interior of the church is immediately shattered by this massive explosion as the front 10 feet of it are decimated away. And to those of you out there surviving, stay safe. Stay alive.